All right, we have another Movado. Yes, I did a Movado. This one here, the Sapphire mirror model. Definitely want to check out that video. I'll put that link down below. But today we're going to be doing the PVD version. This one here is known as the Movado Masino. And this one is 606486 in case you're looking this one up. This one retails at $995, a shade under $1,000. As you guys know, I don't think it's worth the $1,000. However, there is a secondary market, and these will definitely sell for a lot less. And that, to me, is the sweet spot for these watches. So, first and foremost, the Movado Masino. This is done in stainless steel, and it is coated in that black PVD. And as you can see, it's nicely done. Okay. So if you like that blacked out watch look, this may be for you. Now, the portion that I don't like about PVD of any sort is the fact that you'll see here, it will scratch. And when you scratch PVD, the stainless steel will show through. And that's a problem because you can't buff this out. You can't polish this out. You can't technically really re-PVD it. I mean, if you do, it's going to cost you a ton of money, right? So it's a very delicate way of doing a watch. So I'm just throwing a wind of caution. This is not, if you do scratch this is going to show through. It's going to show that stainless steel. So just want to give you a heads up there. This is not something that's unique to this particular watch. It's any blacked out watch. I've even seen Breitlings, right? Breitlings that are blacked out. It doesn't really matter how much it costs. Now, yeah, if it costs more money, like more of the luxurious watches, maybe they put a coating, like almost like a ceramic coating or something on the PVD that makes it a little bit tougher. But at the end of the day, it's still going to scratch, guys. So just a heads up that if you do get a black PVD watch of any sort, that it is prone to scratching, and yeah, the stainless steel will show through. So, as a typical Movado, you're going to get the sterile dial, meaning that all you're really going to get is the concave dot, which is the brand standard, right? That's what Movado is known for. And you're going to get this set of handsets here, which always very nicely done. I do like that. Let me just wipe this off for a second, because again, Movados just in general they are fingerprint magnets, but this is a beauty. As you can see with the handset, look at the detail of them. Very, very nicely done. On the bottom, the only font you're going to find, Swiss made Movado. Again, very typical Movado. As you'll even see right here, they do the same thing. Sterile dial, and of course the same thing here. So this one measures in at 38 millimeters in case diameter. You do get that dual clasp. Doesn't have the buttons. This one is just actually a pressure fit, unlike this model here that does have the buttons, right? So when you press the buttons, it will release. It's kind of a safety mechanism there. It will release it. Whereas here, this is a pressure release. It's all personal preference, guys. Personal preference. And again, this one doesn't matter if you go this side or that side. You can actually lock it both ways without, there's no order in which you do it. Here's how a 38 millimeter looks on my 7-inch wrist. And I have to admit, Movados look larger on the wrist than what their measurements say. So for being a 38 millimeter, this actually wears larger. So very nice. Very thin profile, by the way. This one actually is 6 millimeters thick. There you go. 6 millimeters in thickness. So very, very thin profile. 44 millimeters lug to lug. You're going to get that ever dreaded 21 millimeter lug width. Yes, that's so this one here. It's going to be a little bit harder to find a strap for or a bracelet if you want to go after market, because typically they come very easily, and more than likely you're going to have 18s, 20s, 22s, even 24s in your collection when it comes to millimeters. Those odd millimeter bracelets, this one here being a 21, you're just not going to have a variety. And also when you look up any 21 millimeters, you're not going to get as much of a variety. That's just the way it goes, guys. It's just, they're just not as popular. So you're going to get 21 millimeters. It will taper down, however, to an 18 millimeter. So it does have a nice taper. I do like these lugs. They are very silky smooth. Like there's no rattle to it. It's just very, like, it doesn't get stuck. It's very fluid. It drapes very well on the wrist. And, that's a good quality. Movado does have good quality. And as I've said over and over again, my issue isn't with the quality of Movado. It's the pricing in comparison to what you're getting, which is, typically when you're paying a high price for a watch, you're typically getting a high priced movement. This here is simply a Swiss quartz movement. You do replace the battery by popping off the back. And Swiss quartz movements, they don't cost a lot. If this movement were to die on you, it really wouldn't cost much to buy a new movement. However, if you have Movado do it for you, they're going to charge you an arm and a leg, just like the battery change, which is why I have this watch. I'm actually changing the battery for an acquaintance of mine. And I'm going to post if I haven't already, so I did a battery change. So I did a battery change on this watch, which is why I have it to review. I'm also going to show you guys how to change the battery on this in another video, so you definitely want to check that out. But it's simply just popping off the back. Movado charges you an arm and a leg for this, guys. It literally costed me $2 for the price of the battery. It took me literally 10 minutes to do, and it's back up and running again. So, guys, just go on YouTube, check out videos, and you can learn yourself. It's very, very simple. I will put a video out on how to change this battery if I haven't already. Please check down below for that link. Now, the crown guards, very nice. You're not gonna, mess around with the crown. It does protect the crown. Now, this crown here is actually a little bit better than the one that I reviewed here. It is bigger, and my fingers can actually move this crown. Again, Movado has very smooth crown. So again, there's just no grip on this crown whatsoever. So there's no beveling or anything here, no coinage, nothing like that. It's smooth. But however, I can actually use this crown. So this is a very usable crown. As opposed to, again, guys, I did a video on this one. Look how, first of all, how deep this crown sits. No crown guards. You do have a little slot, like a little cutout there for your nail to pop it out, which, sorry guys. So we're going to pop it out with the nail, which, there you go. But this crown here, it doesn't pop out enough. So I don't get enough meat on it. And again, smooth. This crown is almost worthless. I have a very hard time maneuvering this crown. So yeah, this crown, much, much better. Despite the fact that it doesn't have any knurling on it, it actually is a very maneuverable crown. So I will give them props on this one. This one here is absolutely no problem whatsoever. So I don't mind this crown at all. We do get a sapphire crystal. It is a bit of a box crystal. Okay, so you do get a little bit of that bevel there. Nice look. 30 meters of water resistance. So, you can wear it in the water, but I wouldn't go swimming with it. But again, these watches aren't really made for that, guys. These are more dressy watches. This one can be more casual. I just would be very careful when it comes to swimming or diving. But any kind of rain or washing your hands, I wouldn't really worry too much about it. So at the end of the day, guys, this is definitely a nice watch. And if you can get this for less than retail, I would highly recommend that. Definitely get this on the used market. You'll probably get it for at least half off. Movado is going to be printed here on this clasp. Again, pressure fit, stainless steel. You do get Movado there. Very clean look, by the way, when you snap it into place. You do get the Movado logo right there. Again, my worry is if you're wearing this on a daily basis, you get that desk rash. You're going to start to wear away this PVD. This one actually is in very good shape. I know it has been worn, so the PVD is actually holding up very, very well. So the back of the case, you know, you're not going to get much here. You're just going to get Movado, Swiss made. You're going to get some other, I don't know, let's see, what else do we get here? Sapphire crystal, water resistant. They don't tell you the water resistance, by the way. And then with that stainless steel, they don't give you a lot of information. You know, my other issue with Movado is they don't give you a lot of information. You know, they're going to tell you just the basics. They might give you, they will give you the case diameter, but they don't give you thickness. They don't give you lug to lug. They don't give you lug thickness. You know, lug the width of the lugs or any kind of taper. They don't give you any of that kind of information. So, you know, I wish they did. I wish they would give you what the movement was. Even on their automatics, they're very secretive on what they are. But, you know, that's a Movado for you. What can I tell you? But at the end of the day, guys, nice watch. I have no issues with the wearability of it. It's very comfortable, very thin, very just wearable in many different circumstances. This would look nice with a suit. This would look nice with, you know, t-shirt and jeans. Very versatile watch. I think this one here is more. I guess you could say this one's versatile as well. But the Movados are more dressy. You know, I remember back in the day, I used to see guys come into the gym with their Movados on, and it just looked silly. You know, they had their their tank tops on and they're lifting weights with these. These are just, I hate to say, they're too nice of a watch to be purely casual. These are definitely more dress watches. But look, at the end of the day, you buy the watch, you wear it wherever you want. So that's my 2 cents, guys. You can keep the change. Thank you very much for joining me. And I'll see you guys next time on Average Joe Watch Reviews. God bless.